Astonishing facts that you must know about the Old West. The Old West has so many stories, and we might think that they are made up, but they are true. Where was the real Jesse James buried? What is the story behind Elmer McCurdy's 60-long-year trip? This is worth the watch. What did the old Wild West make even wilder? Let's find out at the end of this video. Number 1. Jesse James's Two Graves. Jesse James was one of the outlaws in the Old West. Though he spent most years robbing banks and trains, he lived a peaceful life in Kearney, Missouri. But then happy days end as well. Jesse James was murdered. His family decided to bury him on his farm to contravene any of his enemies who have some terrible plans with his remains. Years later, his family decided to dig him out to transfer his body to Kearney Cemetery. Surprisingly, there was another buried Jesse James resting at Granbury, Texas. Who would believe that in 1948 someone named J. Frank Dalton said that he is the real Jesse James? Nobody really thinks that a person would claim he is an outlaw and give himself to the lawmen. A few more decades, with the help of a mitochondrial DNA test, the real body of Jesse James buried at Mount Olivet Cemetery is the real one. Number 2. Geronimo's visitor in his dreams. Geronimo didn't know how to use a rifle, and as a leader of the Apache, he had to come up with a different approach, which he called the daring method. Geronimo's wife and children were massacred by Mexican soldiers, and he promised revenge for them. He heard the mountain spirits, that he will never die in a battle or buy a gun, and that they told him they will be guiding his arrows. In a fight against the Mexican soldiers, he did not order to rain arrows. He rushed towards the enemies running in a zigzag motion so he won't get fired. Close enough to the soldiers, he attacks them with knives and took their rifles before running back to his fellow Apache. Really impressive and daring. Number 3. The most expensive door stopper in California. During Conrad Reed's younger years in 1799, he found a big yellow rock on his father's land in Cabarrus County, North Carolina. Without an idea what it was, he went home with it, and since then their family has been using this as a door stopper because it is heavy, and they find that it would be the only purpose. Many years later, a jeweler noticed the big yellow rock was a 17-pound gold nugget. Soon after, Congress decided to build the Charlotte Mint at the country's first gold mine, the Reed Gold Mine in North Carolina. Who would have thought that a door stopper would unlock one of the United States' greatest documented discoveries? Are we tickling your mind already? We just started, so let's move on. Number 4. The world's famous 30-second gunfight at OK Corral. Long before, tension has been building up between the lawman Wyatt Earp, his brothers Morgan and Virgil Earp, and the cowboys Clanton McLaury gang. The cowboys had a reputation for being an outlaw. However, they made a living because of the beef shortage in the nearby towns. Their first tension was when the Earps tracked some lost mules at the McLaury Ranch. The McLaurys accused them back, saying that they are not doing it as law enforcement, but for their own benefit. On the 25th of October 1881, the Earp brothers and Clanton McLaury had a gunfight that lasted for 30 seconds and fired 30 bullets. 3 men killed Billy Clanton and the McLaury brothers. The gunfight's real location was at a vacant lot behind the OK Corral at the end of Fairmont Street. Number 5. Acoma Pueblo is still the oldest settlement in the United States. It's a surprise that everyone thought that Acoma Pueblo in Albuquerque, New Mexico was abandoned decades ago. To date, it has been occupied by a population of 4,800 people. The people who were used as hunters and traders were now making a living because of casinos and the cultural complexes in their place. Number 6. Elmer McCurdy's sad life after death. Elmer McCurdy robbed a train in 1911. He was blinded by the thought that this train carries thousands of dollars, so he went on with his plan. But he was wrong. He took off the train for only $46. When he jumped off the train, he was shot by a lawman, causing his death. He was embalmed with arsenic preparation. This is the start of his entertaining but sad life. Nobody claims his corpse was the reason why he was sold to wax museums and haunted houses. His corpse was mainly used as an attraction. After being sold to different places of entertainment, his last show was at an amusement park in Long Beach, California, where McCurdy lost either his finger or arm during filming for a television show, The $6 Million Man. This was when his human tissue finally revealed his true identity. 66 years after his death, testing confirmed that the prop used in the film was McCurdy. He was finally laid in his resting place at Boot Hill Cemetery in Dodge City, Kansas. These real stories sure made Wild West astonishing in many ways. We sometimes see it in movies, but they are 100% real. You've just watched astonishing facts about the Old West. Now, let's meet more brothers and their interesting stories.